Welcome, parents and families, to our open house. I am happy to have you here and excited to have the opportunity to share some information about the standardized test scores we have received for our class. Standardized testing is just one form of assessment that schools and teachers can use to see what level of achievement and comprehension your students are at any given subject in school. The STAR test that the students take every year test them on their mastery of the standards they should be meeting in their specific grade level. This test for your students covered mathematics and language arts. We received the test scores for each student and are able to look at how well they did in an individual sense. Each student's scores will also be compared to other students in the same grade level, and we're able to determine whether a student is an average, above average, or below average on any individual topic within a subject. Schools take the scores from all of the students in the school, and the schools are then compared based off the entire school achievement to other schools in the area as well as in the whole state of California. We have just received the scores from our STAR test from your students from last year and received great results. In both the mathematics and language arts section, the class as a whole scored in the 80th percentile, which means that the class scored higher than 80% of the other fifth graders throughout the state of California. This is absolutely great news. When looking closer into the data from our class, there are some small areas for improvement in certain subjects. My plan currently is that we will be looking into doing some extra work on our fractions and decimal work, as those were areas where the majority of the class struggled and may have received a below average score. For some of your students, I will be looking further into their individual scores, so to see if they may benefit from some intervention program to assist them in their growth and progress in the classroom. I want to remind you that although this test is something that we do look at for instructional planning and look at to measure your students' achievement, we also factor many other assessments that we use daily in the classroom to factor into your students' progress and my own specific planning for the classroom. When working with your students at home, I encourage you to answer their questions, encourage them to ask questions, and always work hard on their homework. Assist them if they need it with their homework, but try not to do it for them. Allow them to work through the problems, as that will help them really get a grasp of the material and what they are learning. If you have any questions or concerns about your students' progress or their results on the test, you should have received a copy of them in the mail with a small explanation on what each score means. And we will also be holding individual parent conferences shortly where we can discuss the scores further. I hope you guys will have a great night, and thank you for coming by.